In this video, I will construct a full rule with a trigger and an action and make that rule fire and see the action observed. So I'm going to edit the details to say that it's a rule for high CPU. I'm going to observe high CPU usage on a device. This could be any metric, of course. I'm just choosing CPU for the sake of the demonstration. Note it is set to active. I need a trigger, so I'll add a trigger to say for a simple threshold. High CPU trigger. If the CPU metric arrives and is greater than 80, click create, and now the trigger appears here. We can click the pencil icon at any time to change those details and save them. Also, there's a spark line indicating the activity, but that's not pertinent yet. Also, we'll need an action. So I click actions and I could create any of these. For example, an incident report. I'm going to say that it's a high CPU action. There was a high value for CPU observed. I'm going to set it as a warning severity, and I only want a maximum of 1 every 10 seconds. And I click create. So now this rule has one trigger and one action. I could apply another action, perhaps a HTTP push. HTTP push for this action. I'm going to send a post, and I'm going to say value is test CPU, and just test here. The URL destination I'm going to use is a temporary one, but we can observe it when it is occurring. Send a maximum of one of these every 2 seconds and click create. So now this rule has one trigger and two actions. Nothing has happened yet because no data points have been sent in, but I will do that now. I have switched over to a sample application which I'm going to use to simulate data, a metric coming in for the CPU from a specific device. In this widget, I'm able to select a device, perhaps truck 1. I'm going to choose the metric, that is CPU, and I'm going to send the data points manually. For example, I can click here and it will send the data point of 59. So I can see that it sent the value of 59. However, in order to trip the rule and fire the trigger actions, I will need to click a value above 80 because that is what I set in the trigger. So I am clicking a few values over 80. I have clicked 3 values over 80 now, and I will switch back to observe it in the rules engine page. Returning to the details for the rule and refreshing, I can see in the log 3 incidents, or rather 2 HTTP push actions and 1 incident report which has happened. And we can see that over on the right hand side in the spark line, 1 for the incident report and 2 for the HTTP push. Also, we can observe the values that were sent in the HTTP push. Here is a log of what was sent in the HTTP push to the external server. We can read the headers and the post values. Of note is in the message, the JSON object which we set as test CPU with value test, that was sent as part of the message here. Also the name HTTP push for the action was sent, but also the datum info such as the value of 91, which was the CPU value which I sent in the metric in, and the rest of the rule data, the actions and trigger, etc. With this way, we can operate using more information about the values which triggered the rule and the rule itself. Returning to the overall rules engine listing, we see the single rule here for the high CPU. We can see the data was created, there are 2 actions associated with this rule. It is active, and the spark line indicates that 3 actions in total have occurred today for this one rule.